Just warn you right now, there's a lot of cussing in the making of this video. This manifold was a real pain in the ass to get off. And it's quite lengthy. I just left everything in that I had to deal with, so you see what you're going to go through to get this thing off. There's a few things you might want to do different. I just showed everything I went through. There's probably a few things you don't want to remove. But I just showed everything so you can decide for yourself what you may want to leave and take off. There's one specific thing that I would recommend that you do different than I did in the video, as it was a learning process for me. Show you that. Okay, so everything I took off, you pretty much are going to have to, except for this right here, and I actually don't even have it attached because I ended up bypassing this, which I'll explain in the video. But this bolt-on right here, there's a bunch of little vacuum lines that connect to the back of it, and underneath there's like 5 or 6 little vacuum lines, and that part controls the dual butterflies for the separate chambers and the intake manifold. But rather than taking all the little vacuum lines off down here, which you can barely see which one goes where and all that, you can just unbolt this, and I would set it out of the way like that. That way you leave all the vacuum lines attached and you got to worry about what order they go back on or anything like that. Alright, so like I said, I left everything in so you see all the shit you'll be dealing with. And there will be a part 2, the reinstallation, if you want to see that. I'll post shortly after this. And I'll put a link in the description so you can just click on it and go straight there if you want to see how I put it all back together and the torque specs and all that stuff. Alright, I'm going to replace valve cover gasket on the back head, which is going to be a real pain in the ass. And this is why we're replacing it, because it's leaking oil like a motherfucker into the spark plug hole. And it's dripping oil all over the back of the manifold, so the car looks like it's on fire when it's running because of all the oil getting burnt on the exhaust. So it says relieve the fuel system pressure. They give directions for basically you pull the fuel pump fuse and you keep cranking the car over for a few seconds so it uses up all the gas. Remove your gas cap. But my battery's dead, so what I did was, this is actually your fuel pressure relief valve. See a little pin in there you push just like to let air out, but it's gas, and gas is going to come out of there. So I just wrapped this rag around it and pushed a little tab to a little bit of gas came out, but not much. But the car has been sitting for a month or more, so if you do this like the day after you park it, you're going to get a lot more than that. By all means, if your battery's good, just pull the fuse and crank it over 5-10 seconds so it pulls all the pressure and shit out, and then you can relieve any excess pressure with that once you're finished. Alright, I'm going to pull these boots out. You should mark them so you know where they go. I don't give a shit, because you can just go by length. Okay, 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter. If these were here, not broken and missing, you can take it apart in pieces if you want, or try to take it all out as one piece, which is what I think I'm going to do. So you need to disconnect these 10 mil. I like to put shit back on where it goes when applicable. That way I don't lose it, and there's less parts to have to mark and keep track of and all that shit. So when I go to put this back on, I'll go, oh yeah, there's my part, and I just put it back on. Mass airflow sensor, I'm guessing. Disconnect. Okay. That can stay bolted on if you're pulling it out as one piece. Release the hose clamp. Okay. Got some shit connected back there. vacuum line or whatever. That apparently was attached there. Okay. Flip that wire out of the way. And ta-da! Label and detach all wire harness, control cables, and hoses connected to the intake manifold. So, duh, right? That means all this shit, and your throttle cable right here. Just anything that's attached to this motherfucker. And then we're also gonna have to do the same for the fuel rails and lines and shit, and I'll get to that. So let's unplug this. What else we got? The throttle body should come out with the manifold, so we can leave that on and just unplug it. What the fuck? There we go. All this shit. I'm gonna start disconnecting more of this shit to try to get to everything else with all this crap in the way. So I'm gonna disconnect from the fuel rail here, get them out of the way. Okay. And right here. Anytime you disconnect anything from the fuel rails or anything fuel related, watch out for gas spray back. And this fucker's stuck on there and you don't want to break it. There we go. Okay, nothing came out of there. Look at this shit. That's connected down there, but that's going to be a nightmare and a half to get off and get back on, so I'm going to unplug it from here and just let it go with the manifold when I take it off. There we go. Again, you should be marking this shit, at least taking pictures in case you get lost when reassembly. You know where everything goes. And of course I just have the video I can play back to see where everything goes, and should be including that in the video as well. What do we got here? Something just came unplugged. That just came off of there. Which needed to come off anyways because it goes to the manifold. And the manual doesn't really outline everything to unplug. You're kind of on your own, so that's what I'm doing. It's like a puzzle. Let's see, now with all this shit out of the way, I got a lot more room, at least. You might end up unplugging some shit you didn't have to, but you're gonna need room to get to everything. Now this got a little black wire, I don't know if you can see it down there, running all the way back in there, so I don't know if that's going to come with the manifold or not. So for the moment I'm leaving it, but I'll get back to that. There is a few things down here attached to the bottom of this throttle body. So it might be easier to take the throttle body off. I don't know, we'll find out. And so that was pretty glued on there, not wanting to come off, so a little trick. I just grabbed it with this. I wiggled it some to break it free, and now I should be able to pull it off. And that's part of the fuel line, so be careful gas spraying out. I did hear some hissing, so there's still a little bit of pressure in there. There's potential when this comes off, it could just shoot gas out like crazy. And actually, I'm gonna grab my rag just in case. I don't want to get these injectors wet or anything. Or injectors, couplers, connectors, whatever. cover them. Thinking some gas is going to come out of here. So I'm going to not point it at my face when it comes off. It might still shoot up at you, so watch out. You should be wearing safety glasses. Well, there goes some gas. But if that was still pressurized, it would just shoot it everywhere, which does happen. So, take this fuel line off here. I'm getting rained on. Story of my life right here. Alright, so fuel line here is 17 millimeter. Obviously, be careful. This snaps loose, bam, hit that with the wrench. You don't want to break that shit. Actually, it might be better to use the socket with a ratchet out here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do so I don't end up breaking that. Okay, watch for blowback. A little bit of gas went out the bottom, but that was it. But you never know. Okay. Oh shit. I think I just dropped one. No, I don't know. There might have been another copper gasket there. Or it might have been in between there and fell out. I don't... Yeah, I see it down there. You probably can't see it, but it's down there. My magnet and shit, I don't even know if copper is magnetic. Okay, so copper is not magnetic, and it's still down there. So I'll have to figure out how to get fuck that bastard out. Okay, I'm going to disconnect the throttle cable. So basically, push it down. Shit. So that gives you slack in the line. And there's a little pin there with a slot. Probably can't see it. And once you align the cable with the slot, you can pull it out like that. And just squeeze these tabs and push it through. At a time. Yeah. Okay, and then go to the other side. Just like that. Okay. So that's the throttle cable. So this is all part of the VRIS, I believe they call it, variable resonance intake system or some shit like that. You got dual butterflies in here. It's a two-piece manifold. Only part of it allows air in at certain RPMs, and this is vacuum operated, I believe, and has solenoids and shit that actuates the other passages. So that's basically what all this shit is. And you take it off. There's a little bolt down there. This should just all come off with the bracket or off of the bracket or what have you. This one's attached down there, so I'm gonna work on getting that unattached. Well, this can come out with the manifold. Just leave it attached. Take the line off. And actually, I think all this could probably come out with it and just unplug it. I'm just not sure what's easier, to leave it or take it off. And don't pull from the wire like I just did. Push the tab down and try to push back from the plastic. You don't want to pull on the wire, obviously. Okay. That was brown on the right, black on the left. Again, you should be cataloging all this and at least taking pictures and shit so you know where stuff goes back when you gotta put it back together. Okay, that's it unattached. You got more lines and shit down there. So you can see that one. I just unattached it. That's gonna hold you back when you try to take it off. Oh god, what else do we have? And there goes my sunlight. Looks like you got a line or something running here. Oh my god, what a nightmare. I don't know if you can see those, but there's still little hoses and shit connected down there. So I'm thinking it'd be easier just to take that off and leave everything connected where it's supposed to be, because it's kind of a nightmare to see what's going on down there. And I think I'm gonna take it off and leave it attached to the bracket. So there's a bracket attached to a bracket. There's a bracket there attached to the manifold. But right here is these little ones. Okay, so these are actually an 8mm. And that's why I love these little wrenches. I think that's just bent. So you can just bend it back out of the fucking way so you can get whatever you need on it. Well, it's not attached to that. Don't drop these little bastards. That's that bolt clear down there. I think it's like a 10 or something. Well, with that bracket out of the way, I can at least see where those hoses go. So you could continue and take that bolt off down there and remove the bracket and everything, which it looks like a 10. There's top left, top right, well, besides this one. And then there was one just lower on the right. So I think that frees that up, and it'll just come out attached to the manifold. I'm not sure if there's anything else, but what a nightmare. Wait. Yep, there's another bottom hose. There's two bottom hoses. There's a left and a right bottom. Yeah, look at that mess. There's 5 fucking hoses right there. Bunch of little vacuum lines to go here and there. So yeah, you should really pay attention to the order where they go and mark them or whatever. But as you see, it's kind of a pain in the ass to do that. Now what? Jesus. Fuel rail comes off with the manifold, so you can leave it attached. Okay, fuel line's disconnected, the other fuel line's disconnected. This is a coolant line, and I believe I read that that stays there and it's not part of it. Hopefully have all these little vacuum lines disconnected back here, and this is going to come with it. Throttle cable's off. There's a little vacuum line right there. Looks like it. Jesus, there's all kinds of them. I don't know if that's part of the manifold or not. I think it is. I'm going to take that off. Maybe. Well, see, this is one of the solenoids that actuates the butterflies, and there's another one right here. So that's obviously connected to shit down there as well. I mean, some of this, it might be damn near impossible to get to until you break this loose, so you can move it out of the way slightly and then disconnect everything. We'll find out. I'm kind of at a loss at this point, so I'm basically going to take the intake manifold bolts out, get it loose, and just slowly move it and see what's still attached, and whatever's holding it back I'll remove. Yeah, again, because intake manifold removal installation, blah blah blah. Remove intake manifold mounting bolts and nuts. See illustration, and clearly that is not the same motor. You know, this book's covering probe and 626 of all years, basically, or well, 93 through 01. So, like, it's showing this and it's saying, hey, here's the bolts. This is where they are. No, they're not, because this is a completely different engine. So, it's kind of why I'm lost right now. So these are going to be the mounting bolts, which clearly not what the book shows because it's showing a different engine. So I'm going to work on getting all the mounting bolts off. Okay, so these seem to be a 12 millimeter. Try a half, but I can't find a half right now. But I mean, I think 12 and a half inch might be the same, maybe not, but a 12 at least fits it pretty snug. Okay, so I got all these mounting bolts loose. And it's just those. You got a single nut on each end, and then there's these double bolts in the center, and that's it. As you can see, it's loose now. So I know I've got all the bolts, and take them out and work on getting this thing off here and see what's still connected to it. Just notice this is connected. I got all my bolts out. It's completely free in the front. You can see everything's wanting to go. And so this shit is definitely coming with it. Alright, at the moment, something's, oh shit, just holding it in the back. Let's see, the whole front wants to come up, but the back is still stuck, so I gotta figure out what's holding it back there. Alright, whatever's holding it, it's in the middle, because see, it teeters left and right. So I'm guessing it's in the middle down there somewhere. So I might have to take this shit out after all, just to see what's down there, which is what I'm going for. Okay, so there were two 10 millimeter bolts. That's all that held that on there. So I'd recommend taking that out in the first place. Look how much room there is now. I can actually get back here and look and see more of what the fuck is fucking me over. And we'll see. Alright, this black hose here attaches to the valve cover, but there's brackets bolting it to the manifold. So see, there's the 10 millimeter ones I just removed. I just put them back so I wouldn't lose them. And under that is, it looks like 10 millimeters to detach it from that black hose. It feels like I'm caught down in there somewhere. But I did notice we're attached here. It's like down in here or on the back side. I gotta find it. Still, yeah, it's gotta be on the back. Okay, another little 10 millimeter. That's what held that on. This is a real pain in the ass. So I think, yeah, it kind of has to come off with the manifold because it's attached and all that. So, well, at least with it unbolted, I can move it out of the way if I need to, and there's vacuum lines attached to it and all kinds of shit. Okay, I'm gonna move this bracket out of the way. The throttle cable bracket, 10mm again, just to make more room. Okay, bracket's out of the way. I'm just putting the screws back in so I don't lose them. Bolts, whatever. Let's see if I can remove this line. Alright, so now that I've been able to get my hands on that some, that's not going to hold the manifold back. But as it is coming out with it. It attaches to the bottom over here somewhere. And then it runs to this side, so... But it attaches to the valve cover right there. So if you could get that off... Oh yeah, that came off easy as shit. There's no hose clamp or anything on it. Attach that. There's some kind of bracketry down there. I'm still trying to determine if it's got to come off or not. It moves when I wiggle the manifold, but it doesn't seem like it's holding it back. I don't really know what's holding it back at the moment. I'm about to just fucking tug on this thing and see what happens. Okay, it's got to be a bolt. Because it's solid, whatever it is. Alright, I'm going to work on detaching these lines, these vacuum lines, to get this rubber hose off. To try like hell to figure out what the fuck's holding it back down there. Now I never did, I don't know, we'll see. Okay, that whole large metal line with these rubber hoses attached to it is this. With the thing with the cap, see? Because I wiggle it. There you go. And I need another hand. The shit that holds it's clear back in there. So it will come out with the manifold, and there's no detaching it unless you take the throttle body off. So this whole line and everything is coming off with the manifold, so you need to make sure everything's detached from it. And I think what's holding me down is underneath of it. So I'm about to say fuck it and take off the throttle body, but I'm not sure yet. I might just have to. Seeming like the better option at the moment. I take that off. You know what? I think I'm going to. Alright, I say fuck it. I'm taking this damn thing off. I'm taking the throttle body off. I'll get a new gasket if I have to. I don't really give a shit at this point. And these are 12mm. That holds not only the bracket, but also the throttle body. Same over here. There's 4. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the bottom 2 with these bolts, they're exactly the same. The top right was this. Fuck my life. God damn it. This one, you see it's different. Apparently that wasn't supposed to come out. That nut right there should have came off of it. Instead the whole bolt came out. You see here the nut came off of that one. That's loose, so you might have either happen. It should just be the nut comes off, but the nut was seized up on that, so the whole bolt came out. All these coolant hoses on the bottom are holding on to it. Just gotta take those off. I can't really get that line off down there. I got the one off, but that one's pretty fucked. But I can get that out. That one's completely different too. Retarded. Okay. So, yummy. Let's see here. Alright. Oh, look, another hose. Wow. See, and I pulled those two lines off of there. So, this is free. It's just connected by those coolant hoses in the bottom. That's dirty as fuck. This thing does have 230 some thousand miles on it. Let's see, that's part of your butterflies right there, which he's just got zip tied open because it wasn't working. Alright. Wow. Holy shit. This thing has seen better days. A lot of carbon and shit in there. Jesus. Okay. Well, see, there's our leaky gasket. Part of the problem. Oh, look. See, I didn't see that. It's attached to there with that fucking thing in the way. That's got to come off. It's attached to the manifold. But that's still not what's holding me back. See, there's the bracket for the hose I was trying to get to. Oh my god. Apparently we're fucked in that regard, because it's still connected elsewhere back there. But some of that shit back there is what I was trying to get to. I don't know if you can see it. There's a bolt back in there. Might be what's holding me back, I can't tell. Alright, I think I found the problem. As you can see, I got it a lot looser. Still stuck in the back. There's a bolt I've had my eye on back there, which is part of what I've been trying to get to, which requires taking all this shit out. It's clear down there under that pipe. Looks like it's a 10, but there's all kinds of shit attached to the bracket. Oh my fucking god. What a nightmare. So, that's the back of it. It's bolting a bracket to it. I'm pretty sure that's what's holding it. So somehow I gotta get back there and get that bolt out. And it's right there under that hose. So see, now with it being loose and all that shit, I can get something down there now. You know what, actually that looks bigger than a 10. I bet that's a 12 or some shit. So let's take that off and see what happens. So that's where it is. I barely got my fucking socket on there. You're gonna have to have the right damn length extension, 12 millimeter. And that shit's in the way. So I can't even get my ratchet back there. I gotta find another option. I finally got it. Fucking swivel joint. And lots of patience. And I dropped it, and I don't give a fuck. Well, would you fucking look at that? That's what was holding it. Impossible to reach goddamn bolt. Oh, there it is. Fucking. Where's my fucking magnet? That. Now there's still probably a few things attached. God, fucking ants. That's free. Like, remember, I still got this attached, so I gotta like snake everything through without breaking anything. Attached to shit back here. Okay, that's right. Fuck! It's just... Drop my light. It's the couple little vacuum lines still attached to that solenoid down there. Oh, shit. Fuck. God damn it. Those. I think it was just one. That one last line attached to the throttle body. Say that line goes to the throttle body. Ow! Oh God! Oh. See if I get that off. Alright, that little line goes right there. It's gonna be a lot easier to take off of there. So that's what I'm gonna do. I lied. It's not attached there. It goes there. That's the only thing that's holding me back. The easiest thing I found to do was pry this one off. You see it's pretty fucked up. So I just had to keep prying at it little by little. Okay. So these other two are still connected to the throttle body. And it can just fucking sit there. So finally, oh god, I gotta get all that shit out of there, but where's my other light? Fuck, there it is. I have to vacuum all that crap out. Those are your valves. Yeah, there's fucking chunks of metal in there I knocked in. Definitely gotta suck all that shit out. So there it is. And that one pain in the ass bolt was right there. This bracket was fucking what was attached and not letting it go. There's another bolt down there holding the bottom of it, which is obviously loose. I don't give a fuck. Now, fuck me. I broke one piece trying to get this fucker out of here. It's from that hose I was trying to get removed. It lays here like this or whatever. Right there. Little plastic piece. Fucking vacuum line shit I broke. So let's see what the hell that is and if it even fucking matters. But I got it out. Alright, the front valve cover gasket's already been done prior. So we're just doing the rear. You take out these 10mm bolts that are holding your valve cover on, and you gotta take out these 10mm off the timing cover so you can pull it back. And while it attaches to part of the valve cover also. This one's missing. There's the other one. Okay, so for one reason or another, all my bolts were actually really loose. So it's probably part of the problem is why I'm leaking oil and shit. Yeah, the center ones are longer. And I noticed this is already kind of loose. Yeah, so I'm able to just pull it back. If you can't, you just tap around with a rubber mallet until you break it loose. Looks like this bracket here. still attached, so I'm gonna have to take that off real quick. It looks like a 10mm. Okay, brackets off. Let's see what's holding me up here. Oh, forgot a bolt. Okay, now it should come off. Huh. I can see little cracks in it. There's a crack, there's a crack. There's two big ones right here, and it was leaking out of the back of the valve cover gasket. You can see them. There's one that's real bad right there. Of course, this is rubber, but now it's like plastic.